Welcome back to Be the Trader, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Today, I actually want to share with you a whole new series I started working on, and I want to call it Tandem Trading. This is where you get to watch how I'm trading while I'm trading and what I'm thinking in the moment before it even happens. This is not hindsight trading. This isn't, let's do a trade review after it's done. This is while I'm doing it. So I hope you find value in this. If you do, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and comment below what you like. And if there's some things you'd like to see in the future, let me know. So this morning I am watching IMRN, and as of right now, I have a plan for a week high day break. See how it acts up there before I just randomly start shorting. It's interesting, I borrowed shares early because it is a low float, but there's plenty of shares available and at cheaper prices now, which is, you know, kind of sucks, but I guess that's why I didn't borrow that many, so that's the other good side of this. So right now, I am looking for a potential play here. And we'll see if I'm able to get that. If we show some weakness, I may take a starter, but more than likely I want to see some kind of pop at the open. We see this trend. This trend's pretty strong on the 5, the 10, and even the 15. So I need to see some resistance up here before I start shorting. Although I do want to short, I need to see something that makes sense. DPW, this isn't even IMRN. How funny is that? This is DPW. DPW also still has shares of short, so that's a good sign. And I'm just gonna be patient and wait. I'm watching IMRN, hoping we'll get a spike. I don't think we'll get that, but my plan is to short into a spike, risking off of this area. Big picture, we have resistance at 16. And that may be my risk at this point. So we'll see if we can get a nice short on this. And SRNE, I'm just watching for now. It's too big of a float for me. It's at 1 point something billion. CPIX is a decent float, 50 million. I'd like for this to spike big and maybe take a short. But this is still my priority. So I took a starter on this because we just had some push with some good volume and some rejection. And we're getting close to the open. So right now I still have the same risk in mind, which is the 565 area. It's a little over 550. And we'll see what's gonna happen there. I'll put my stop here. So I have a wide risk on this. And I don't have full size yet, but I'm willing to take more shares. And now I'm just gonna wait for a pop. So right now we have a big buyer at $5. And I'm looking to potentially maybe cover if it breaks high day before the open, I'll cover. But if it opens and then breaks high day, I'm gonna keep my position and look to add. At the same time, I am possibly interested in adding to this position if it breaks 5. Because at this point it would seem to me it'd be working. And I'll still keep the big risk in mind because we're still up $3 a share. So that's another side of that. So that big bidder gets tested, but it's not breaking down and it's not lifting. Let's see what happens here. My hope is that, we break 5 and then flush. Now my plan is to hold this pretty much for a fader. At the same time, if you look in the daily, this thing does not hold its spikes very well. So that's what I'm looking forward to right now, is not to hold its spike. It's gotten 13 million float already, or shares traded, which is almost triple the float, which is concerning but not alarming. This thing trades massive volume before. But like I said, if this breaks high a day before the open, I'm going to cut and look to re-short at a higher level. But if we don't, then I'm going to keep my overall plan. See this 5 level? See the $1,000 or 1,000 shares? Really 100,000 there. And it's not going anywhere. Lots of buyers. So I just added to this position because it looked like 5 was going to break. And we actually did break. So now I feel a little bit more confident about this play. Still have the same plan if it breaks this 540 before the open, which I'd be shocked, but if it does, then I'd be getting out. If it doesn't, I'm still keeping my overall 66 area as risk. And it looks like we may start to fade. This 480s is important to me. Really, this area here, this 490s, 488 level. I could see it hold here and then bounce. If we don't, we start to crack, I'll feel a little bit more confident. And I can start adding eventually. But right now, there's no point in adding. I'm keeping my risk. And the plan is to really keep that risk for the whole day. And experiment with this way of maintaining risk until profit target. So it's looking a little weak at the open, but it hasn't been a minute yet. But I do like this action. Using the overall risk, like I said earlier, 566, wide risk, but I have a big picture plan on this. And I will be looking to add into this once I get my confirmation. And once I feel good about risking maybe high a day or something like that. But I will not be adjusting my risk from high a day once I do that. So here comes the push to 5, which is very interesting to see. That's what I want to see. And a very harsh reject at 5. I like that a lot. Big selling. Big selling. So now it's just a matter of starting to add in on pops. Because at this point, if we break above this area, I think we could continue to squeeze. So I am looking to add. near this 5 level, if anything. So we'll see. We'll see if we get that. I'm still watching IMRN, looking for a nice pop, quick squeeze, and then we're starting to get skipping there. You see that? I'm hoping we get that all the way back to 15, so we'll see. DPW, I like the action. Keep in mind, my goal is not to take profits even at 4. I want to take profits in the 3s, this area, $3.20 to $3 at the minimum. But my goal is to add on a pop. So we'll see what happens. I think we'll still get a pop. I think it's still highly possible. And it's something that I'm open to and hopefully can get a chance to size in. And for now, we're getting that further fade. I only have room for one add, and that's if we get a good pop. And I would be risking this 540 at that point. So I'm just waiting. I do like that it's continuing to be weak. It's looking like an all-day fader for me. IMRN, very interested in this as well. This 13 level. It's up $4 a share. And if we start to break this 1150, this 1010 area, and we get a pop, I could start shorting, risking this 1150 area. Right now, however, it's not time. But I am watching it. This is one that I would probably hold too for pretty much the whole day. I ended up taking a starter on IMRN because we got this breakout with volume rejection, and I'm risking 12. And at this point, I'm looking to add if we get more confirmation, but right now I still do see this little trend. But overall, I do like big picture. This thing never holds its spikes. Granted, and the volume it's good, but it's not as good before. We'll see. I mean, it could easily continue to squeeze. You can see that here. And I'm watching it. If it starts to break 12, then I'll cover and I'll look for another reshort. If I do reshort. DPW is still fading. It's a nice fade. We're not getting that bounce that I'm looking for to add, and that's okay. But I'm still in it, and I'll ride it all the way back. We're getting that pop. We're going to test this high a day. This is very interesting here. I'd love to see a fail 1150. It'd be nice, and we'll see. So we're getting that spike on IMRN, and I'm watching this very closely right now. We have resistance at 16. And now it's coming up to that plan that I wanted to do, and you know, that initial short didn't work, but I'm still watching it because it could definitely continue to squeeze. If it picks up momentum, that'll be really nice. Pick up some momentum and squeeze really quickly. Could be a good short, risking the 16s. We'll see. I'm watching it. DPW is still fading. I move my risk now to 5 high a day, because at this point, if it breaks high a day, I think we're going to get a nice squeeze, which means I can short higher. However, I am looking to add, risking off of high a day still. So if I can get in this 450 area, I can start adding up in this area if we can get a nice squeeze. IMRN is starting to squeeze a little more, which is nice. High is 1567. Looks like it may halt here in a second. Now, I'm not going to be a rush in this short, because if I do short it, it's going to be on a clear sign, and I'm looking to hold this. So we'll see what happens. I'll be watching it, see if we can get that fade. It's interesting. I got squeezed out. Didn't think it was going to test 5, but now that I see this, just straight down turn and then a spike. So this is the first real bounce. So I should have still been in this, risking my original risk. But because I got stopped out and I saw this rejection, I got back in at 5 and risking this 540. And at this point, I have no like reason to adjust that risk, unless, you know, we show some high, you know, some actual level that makes sense. And then at that point, high a day. Like, I don't want to risk anything else other than high a day or my original risk. It's an experimentation. This day, you know, it did not work. I was in a good position in the 5s. Could have just held out through this spike here, but I ended up getting stopped out. It's a little greed because I wanted to add in this bounce here, risking all 5, but at the same time, I do notice that this is just straight down trend. So I need to know that the first bounce is coming, and it could bounce above 5. It's a good lesson for me to recognize. So I ended up covering this stock, and I closed my software when I did on multiple levels. And you can actually see on this chart here, this is 1R, or this is 3R right here, and this I covered half, and then covered in my last half in the quarters at pretty much a 4R gain right here, and then a 3.5R here, which I'm very happy about because it really showed me that I can hold these stocks, and it's something I want to improve on. Now, I could have definitely held this longer. I mean, big picture, it continued to fade, and it bounced here and then faded up. I mean, went to 370, never really tested even a key area, and just continued to fade to 3. And if I would have covered at low a day or even at $3 a share, it could have made me another R gain. So I missed 1R gain there, which is something I want to be able to optimize. Because this chart just shows just continuously selling pressure. So I like this chart very much. And at the end of the day, I'm proud of how I traded it, and I just wanted to recap how I covered. If you're liking this type of content, make sure to comment below. Let me know your thoughts and any ideas that come to your mind. Share those below as well, because those ideas can spark new ideas for me to do new types of content. On top of that, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you'll be notified for future content that comes out, because I do multiple pieces of work weekly. Thanks.